Hey everybody, Jay Marino here. Welcome back. It's Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Been having a really good time with it so far. I'm sad that it's going to be ending. But I've had a lot of fun making this series. I really like making series like this where I'm just like really familiar with certain games. You know, I like to mix it up, but I do particularly enjoy series like this. There just aren't that many games that I know inside and out, you know? So let's see what this is all about. The seed's core is contained within this opening. It relies on a corrupted creature for protection. But what's it gonna be? Ridley, why don't you just, like, tape that closed? Omega Ridley. Armored plating protects body, fires plasma attacks from mouth. Revived and regenerated through phase and exposure, Omega Ridley has been energized to a new combat threat level. Target retains extremely durable phase and enhanced armor skin, as well as protective armored plating. Scans indicate that a recent injury is not fully healed. Expose and target wound to inflict damage. Target will act to protect this vulnerability. Seek ways to stun the enemy and leave it open for deadly attacks. So he'll roar at us every so often, and that's when we can hit him in the face. Like that. I'm going to hit him with hyper missiles. Very hard to hit him when he's doing that. It's easy to avoid the shockwave, though. He's blocking it with his hands. Okay, so now he's in phase 2. A very similar idea here. Avoid getting charged. Phasite armor is now covering cardiac region. Armor is invulnerable, but internal joints seem weak. We can actually stun him out of charging if you time it just right. Wow, big whiff. I'm going to use the Nova Beam here, and the X-Ray Visor. There we go, stunned him out of it. That's one of two. Ooh, kind of a fake out there. Hopefully we can get it in one more. Oh, wow, I hit him. I hit him in midair. Okay, looks good. Armor has been destroyed. Cardiac region is now exposed. Vulnerable to phase and energy. So this is going to be one of the only times, possibly the only time, when that radar in the upper left, which you probably didn't even realize existed until I'm bringing it up right now, is useful, because we can see where he's coming from as he comes in. That's it. So he just flies around like an asshole. I think this is... maybe there's some mechanic that we could use here to stop him from flying around. For me, I just wait. You just have to wait. Use Hypermode strategically to avoid taking damage from bombs, and that's it. Come on, buddy. Now he'll stomp around and try to... Just gonna keep going into hyper mode and see if we can get him. This should do it. Omega Ridley defeated. How he returns in Super Metroid after we saw him literally explode is unclear. At least in Prime 1, you can understand, like, oh, he just fell into the abyss, right? We didn't see him blow up. Hyper Grapple Online. So we just channel our phase and energy in hyper mode through the grapple. There's only a couple spots to actually use this. Only one in, like, the normal game, and the second time is in the, like, on the final planet. It's just not used enough because it's the final item you get.
Samus, you have successfully destroyed the last remaining seed as detected by our systems. The spread of Phazon corruption has been stopped. This is a great day for the Federation. However, there is one more mission to complete. Skytown's Aurora Unit 217 reports that it has discovered the origin of the Leviathan attacks. It appears that this is where Dark Samus and her main pirate force are stationed. Destroying them will require a full-scale attack. Unfortunately, this location is so far away it cannot be reached by conventional space travel. We must instead create a wormhole to reach it. The pirates have constructed a Leviathan battleship, which is in orbit around this planet. If we can board this battleship, we may be able to force it to open a wormhole. Large energy surges consistent with a warp device are traveling between the pirates' planet and the Leviathan battleship. It appears the pirates are using this warp device to link to the ship. We will upload the coordinates of this device to you now.
All right. So let me tell you the score. We got 4 red phasoids to get. We're at 98%. The 2 items left are gunship missile expansions, which is a bummer. But we're going to get them. And then we have 2 achievements. All of these things will be done on the pirate homeworld. We also must interact with the Leviathan control station, which requires us to take that warp pad up to the Leviathan. The whole idea is the Leviathan will open up a portal to phase. We cannot interact with the Leviathan unless you have the pirate code from the GFS Valhalla, which we already have. So we're going to go backwards and take the train. We got some train rides this video. That's alright, though. Nothing wrong with mass transit. Well, okay, so I guess to talk more about the actual problem in this game is I definitely feel like the transition cinematics are too long. Like this right here, I don't think this is a hidden loading screen. So there are a lot of times where like your ship is taking off, your ship is landing. When you put it all together, is extremely long. Like, you put all that together, that's a large amount of playtime. Like, I think if we looked at my in-game time compared to the amount of time I spent recording this series, like the length of videos all put together, there's going to be a drastic difference. And all that time in between is either me reading in the logbook, which, you know, I'm sure that can add up and account for maybe 40 to 50% of it, and then the rest is a cutscene like this one. Right, the tram in the tunnel, that's a hidden loading screen. This, not so much, I don't think. Whereas in the first 2 games, they're just elevators. Alright, so we're coming up from the back side of where we fought Gandreda. Got kind of lucky there with which one was the red. Which one had the red phasoid in it. I know what rooms they're in, but I don't know which specific phasoids have the red ones in them. So that's 1 of 4 down. And I am sort of doing my best to avoid killing every single phasoid. It is kind of expensive in terms of health to kill every phasoid. To clear a room of 2 or 3 phasoids is going to cost you 2 or 3 energy tanks, so you just have to decide whether it's worth it or not. Though if you didn't know where the red phasoids were and you really wanted to get them, then yeah, you'd end up killing all of them, I suppose. This room has 4. If I break a phasoid that doesn't have the red guy in it, I think I'm just going to murder the small parts anyway, because they'll reform back into a big one if not. Still no red. I got lucky in the first room, in the Proving Grounds, but now here in the Metroid room, not so much. There it is. Alright, so these little guys are going to bump me up quite significantly, almost to the point of overloading, actually, so let's just make sure we spam it out. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and double back out of this room. Alright, and then this one does not have a red phasoid, but I am going to kill it because it's just in my way in this specific room. Oh, okay. I think this is supposed to be a reference to Metroid and Super Metroid. In the rooms where you fight Mother Brain, there are the little red energy tubes that you have to shoot with multiple missiles, and they get thinner as you shoot them to get to the end of the room. I think that's maybe what that is supposed to be.
Samus, we have received new data from AU-217. A planet was detected at the epicenter from where the Leviathan telemetry originated. We have named this planet Phase.
Good for you. All right, get ready. This is going to be 100% here. Spider ball. Don't. You know what? It's only fitting that number one, it's a ship missile expansion, and number two, it requires the spring ball, and we failed at it. Twice. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Let's go. Ha! That! Overcompensated that time. No matter how many times this takes, we'll leave it all in. That's fine. Ha! There we go. Alright, let's see it. 100% of all pickups acquired. Special ending unlocked. By extension, that's 100% item collection in the entire Metroid Prime Trilogy. That's some hot shit right there. Again, if I don't have to fight every phasoid, I'm not going to. We've gotten the 2 phasoids in this particular location. Destroying these usually has more phase in them. It's good. Hello, my friends.
Since the seed has been destroyed, most of the troops were called back to the fleet. We stayed behind to guard the landing locations. There are still pirates in this area. Stay alert.
Are there pirates in this area? All we fought were phasoids. I mean, we didn't go to every single room, but the rooms we were in, there were no pirates. Alright, 2 phasoids, 2 achievements. So we want to go to Transit Station Landing. This is the landing zone we opened up after we escorted the demo troopers.
After the seed was destroyed, these weird glowing creatures started showing up all over the place. We weren't able to damage them, so you may want to watch out.
I hate them.
The tunnel that connects directly to the seed caved in when the core exploded. Access is completely cut off. There was nothing left to see there anyway.
Okay, so we're actually going to backtrack our way through the big space pirate combat rooms. They're just going to be filled with phasoids now. And I'm only going to kill the ones that are either in my way or the ones in the room with the red phasoid. Just because I don't know, again, I don't know which ones contain the red phasoids. I just know the room. Speaking of that, this room is not one of those. We can just leave. Makes me feel like we're helping out our Federation troopers, though, because they have no way of damaging these. Well, the demo troopers can't, but I guess the PED troopers could. There it is. Get out of the way. Red phasoid defeated. Thank God, am I right? Do we want to kill the rest of these? We're already overloaded, so why not? We have to, like, walk up through this room, and these things can go through walls, like their attacks go through walls. Also, the little ones are chasing me now, and they're going to overload me if I'm not careful. Save me, auto vent. They're chasing me. Alright. So that's 9 of 10. This room, conspicuously empty, but doesn't matter to me. I guess there was one space pirate unit there. So the next thing I'm going to do is go and interact with the Leviathan before getting our final phasoid. It sounded like there might be some commandos in that room. There was one weird bit of phase-in crystal here that we couldn't interact with. But now, with the hyper grapple, we can. And this is the only one of these in the normal game, until we get to phase. Oh, whoa! Alright. More trains. I guess to elaborate even more on these cinematics is also perhaps, because I'm playing the game in a more streamlined fashion with knowledge on where everything is, I'm using these trains and I'm using my ship more frequently with less time in between. So I feel like maybe these transit cinematics can feel a little overbearing, again, just because I'm hitting them that much more frequently. Whereas I feel like the typical audience for this game, you buy it, you pick it up, and you're exploring a lot more, you're spending more time in each individual zone before you're just getting on a train, taking you to who knows where. Alright, so this is the Leviathan station. So no one's even going to mention the pirate code or going to the Valhalla, just because we already did it. But typically you would come here and realize, oh, I can't do anything. And then 242 would give you some bland exposition about finding the pirate code. Target appears to be a portion of the Leviathan's core, invulnerable to all weaponry. Leviathan optical organ. Target appears to be sensitive to any type of weapons fire. Oh, well, in that case... There we go. Leviathan humiliated. I think you have to shoot it 60 times.
Samus, we have gained control of the Leviathan. Now we'll be able to open a wormhole and warp to Phase. It's time to end this. Once you rendezvous with the fleet, we'll head straight into the belly of the beast. I look forward to fighting alongside you again, Samus. Godspeed.
Godspeed to you, Admiral Dane. But we still have one thing left to finish, and that's our red phasoid hunt. There are two other things, mildly, that bother me. Number one, after finding all the red phasoids, you don't get any sort of fanfare, like, you got them all. There's nothing confirming that you have found all the red phasoids. You get the little tokens, but you otherwise wouldn't know how many there actually are in the game. And then number two, there's no pop-up that says 100% logbook completion. So we're not going to see that when we get to Phase, but I will show you all once it gets filled up.
Take heed, Samus. Once you join the fleet and the wormhole to Phase is opened, there is no turning back. Please be sure to prepare yourself. We wish you the best of luck.
Another train. I'm very sorry. So, this is going to take us to the mining site, where the last red phasoid is, and also last random friend credit achievement. So the way you can also track scans, I mean, the logbook is pretty good at saying, like, hey, 10 out of 10, or however many, like, it does tell you the total number of scans in a certain category. I think Prime 2 did it better with the percentages, especially as you're scanning it, you get a sense of how much is left. But again, it's relatively simple to see, and you get those red scan tokens every time you scan something new, and you get the blue ones for any time you scan a certain lore pickup. So, again, there are ways to track it, but there's no fanfare for getting 100%, unfortunately, like the first two games had. Oh gosh. Hey, you guys want to watch some drill cinematics together? We can bond. Me and the phasoids. Maybe that's all they want. They just want to watch some drill cinematics together, and they'll stop emitting phase and energy. Okay, so this room. We want to kill all the phasoids in here. We need them all to be dead so that the room effectively resets. So this is something that I've tried to avoid. I've tried to, like, create a pathway through the games so that I wouldn't have to, like, purposefully reset a room by just, like, going 2 rooms away and resetting it. So, like, in this case, this room has phasoids in it. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's what I thought. So if we want this room to return to normal, we need to kill all the enemies in it, which we've done. Let these things run into me, that's fine. And then we need to move 2 rooms away. That's the only way, again, that essentially refreshes the room. So we can come back this way and wall jump up here and go through. So we've gone through 1 door, we have to go through a 2nd door. And again, I guess it's kind of funny that here at the very end of this video series, I've done everything in my power up until now to avoid having to do this specific thing, but unfortunately the game leaves you no other choice in this particular instance. So now our best friend is back, and because the shield is down, we can bomb it. Cool. So that's our last achievement. Before getting to phase, at least. So, like, we've gotten every item, every logbook scan, and every achievement prior to going to phase, which is the last section of the game. So I guess one way maybe I could have tried to figure out a better way to route this where, you know, you bring the shield down, then you come and bomb this thing, and then we come back after the seed is destroyed to get the phasoid. That way we wouldn't have to reset the room the way I just did it. But honestly, in this particular case, the amount of time saved by doing it this way was, I think, so much better. But I purposely avoided certain pathways previously so that I wouldn't, again, be doubling back in any way like that. Oh, jeez.
Harvester units was spotted in this section. Some of the pilots were trying to take it out with a bombing run just for kicks. Sounds like fun to me.
It was pretty fun.
There's still pirates taking refuge in this area. Any that you can dispose of would be appreciated.
I guess. They were just those crawl mines.
Data received.
Alright, so we're actually going to save here on the planet. And because this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, because the next thing to do is to go to phase, and as soon as you take off to go to phase, you cannot save once you're there. So we're going to save here. And what I'll do maybe for a minute or two here is we can go into the logbook and kind of explore what we've gotten to make it clear that we have everything prior to phase. So we go into the logbook. We can start with, like, lore, for example. You can see these are all 12 out of 12. Research. This one right here is something we're going to get on phase. Everything else, it's all good. We read about Ether and Talon 4. This right here, also something we're going to get on phase. So there are 2 research scans on phase. In terms of creatures, Galactic Federation's done, Brio is done, Skytown's done, Space Pirate is done. And this is where you can kind of highlight, see there, you know, all these advanced troopers and armored troopers and assault troopers. There were just so many different variants that is just sort of silly. Again, you can get most of these in the escort section with the demo troopers. I think the only ones that don't show up anymore at a certain point are the militia troopers. So you probably want to grab, like, Pirate Militia and Pirate Trooper early. Pirate Hazar only shows up on Brio that one time when he's riding the Beast. I forget what it's called. Yeah, but we got all of those. There are 2 bosses remaining. I don't want to reveal what they are, but you can see we've gotten all of these scans. I thought I read about Omega Ridley. Why is he not marked as red? Okay. And then, again, these are the last 2. And then Phazon, there are 4 that we can scan on Phase itself. So, of course, we'll be getting those. So that leaves 2 bosses, 4 creatures, so that's 6 plus 2 research scans. So that's 8 scans remaining. They're all in the final area of the game. Looking good. And then the other thing that we can look at is you can come in here and read about your energy cells that you've gotten. It even gives you the location where you got it, saying that indicates this energy cell is connected to Hangar Security Shield System. This is what we would have scanned had we not picked up the energy cell. This is what the tip bots on the Valhalla would have given us, that type of information. And then we can actually see our bonus credits here. So the green ones, the way this works is you need to use these friend vouchers to send to someone that you were connected with over WeConnect24, a service that has been long defunct, and then you basically trade them out for the green credits. And you use these credits in the store. There's a store to buy concept art and stuff on the main menu. So the gold credits, we would actually have many more of these. If we were playing on Hypermode, the bosses give you 2 gold credits instead of just 1. So if we're playing on Veteran, again, up until this point, we have the max number of all of these credits up until this point. So once we get the remaining scans and kill the final bosses, we'll get a few more gold credits and a few more red credits. But again, no pop-up that says 100%, 100%. So I suppose once we scan that final boss, we can pop into the logbook so that you can see 100%, 100%, just making sure these numbers are all maxed out. All right, so that's our little exploration of the logbook. What a treat. We didn't really do that in Prime 1 or 2, but I didn't really feel like it needed much of an explanation. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this series. We're going on to our final video next time when we head to Phase. It's a pretty fun sequence. It is its own little zone. It's not just straight to the final bosses. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.